Do you ever get the sense that headline news is following you around personally? I don't know. I have this recurring event in my life where it seems like I am at a location where breaking news is happening, and that's the case with this immigration fraud investigation in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I was just there. I just got back. Hello, everyone. It's Michael here at This Way TV. I'm glad you're here, getting your news this way. I've just got to make some observations about this headline that's breaking. Trump administration finds 44% of immigrants in Minneapolis are have committed immigration fraud. Now, it's a little longer video. I'm going to get this out of the way up front, but at the end, I'm going to give you 3, maybe 4 instances in recent years where I find myself in the middle of like global or at least national breaking news, and it's crazy. Let me know in the comments if this has ever happened to you. So, first, let me show what let me just read this. A recent sweeping investigation undertaken by multiple federal agencies in the Minnesota cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, as well as surrounding areas in September, has revealed that nearly 50% of immigrants interviewed as part of the sweep committed some form of immigration fraud. And here it gives the dates. Operation Twin Shield, September 19th through September 28th. I flew to Minneapolis St. Paul Airport on the 21st, and I flew out on the 27th. Right in the middle of this investigation. I was there for my mom's surgery. And when I got off the plane, or when the plane landed and I was getting off the plane in Minneapolis, St. Paul, the cleaning crew came on the plane, and it was 4 Somalis, 4 Somali immigrants. And I saw them everywhere during my stay. And then this news breaks that they were doing an immigration investigation the whole time I was there. Like, I show up right after 2 days after they started it, and I leave 1 day after they finish it. And here I am seeing these headline news. Now, here's what Tim Pool has to say. I'm just going to play a portion of this. He's reporting out of I just read a post-millennial article, but this is, he's reading out of the New York Post.
Accurate number. Now, my understanding is that she did legit marry some guy. Did then come to the U.S. The question is, I think the actual thing being challenged is, are they brother and sister?
Ilhan Omar.
Hello, my name is Adam Frey, Chief Executive Officer.
Of course, a commercial, right when I'm wanting to play this. I'm turning the volume down, hitting skip, and bringing the volume back.
That's what's being challenged. She did marry this guy. I think it's pretty obvious he's gay. I don't know. You know, who am I? Right? But the question then is, are they really related? And the argument is that the documents showing that their relation in Somalia have long been destroyed, damaged, or lost because of the constant state of civil war. The Twin Cities were chosen because the data showed as a hot spot for manipulation and misuse of the immigration system, officials said, with cases of marriage fraud found to be a particular problem. Dude, they are going after Ilhan Omar. This is what they're doing.
All right, so he's emphasizing that they're conducting this investigation in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in Minnesota because of Ilhan Omar. And I believe it. And the article goes on to say, we're just using this city as an example of what we're going to be doing in other cities. But this is a particular example because it's particularly high. It's like almost 50% of the immigrants that they interview are involved in some kind of immigration fraud. And so it's a pilot program, if you will, but they're going to impeach, it seems like, impeach Ilhan Omar and then denaturalize her and then deport her because of fraud. Now, my personal, here I am in the middle of this headline news. I was there. Mom survived the surgery, thank God. Here's 3, maybe I'll do 4 other instances if you stayed for this. Number 1, I was on jury duty back in whatever year it was. And I was on jury duty in L.A., one of the downtown courthouses, on whatever floor it was on, and there were 3 courtrooms on that floor, and I go in, and it's a first-degree murder case, and I come out, and in one of the courtrooms right next to us, there's media everywhere. It was the Phil Spector case. If you remember the Phil Spector case, the high-profile Phil Spector murdered a woman, and he was found guilty. And was like, oh, what do you know? Here I am. The second instance, in 2018, I went to the Sundance Film Festival. I went 2 years in a row. And so I went to the Sundance Film Festival, and I'm with a friend, and another friend of mine happens to be invited because she was in one of the documentaries. And my friend and I go and see the screening, and it's a documentary called Knocking Down the House. And it was the Social Democrat documentary about 4 candidates who were running for office, and the first 3 did not get in. And my friend worked on one of those campaigns, and my friend's up on screen, and they cut from her to the 4th candidate who won her seat. It was AOC. AOC. It was the documentary about her winning her candidacy. She was supposed to be in the room. Linda Sarsour was in the screening, if you know who that is. But AOC joined via Skype or whatever to say, sorry, I was supposed to be there. If you remember, there was a government shutdown for her freshman year or her freshman term in the House. And then they reopened the government right at the Sundance Film Festival, so she couldn't be in Sundance. She had to be there. So there's another historic moment. Here's a third one. On November 6th, 2018, I was in D.C. for research. I had planned this trip. It was on the calendar long ahead of time. So I show up, and it's November 6th, and my historian that I'm working with, he's off doing something. And I'm at a cigar shop, and I'm like, is there a cigar room somewhere around here I can walk to? And he's like, yeah, here. He gives me the address. So I start walking, and I'm walking along, and I'm just following the GPS to this other cigar lounge. And I'm walking along, and I see all these protesters, and I'm walking past these protesters, and they have these signs. And then I look to my right, and I'm at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I had no idea. I just was following the GPS. And Trump is in the White House. It was the midterm elections. I look at the protest signs protesting Trump, and I walk right by. Here's the last one I'll share with you. The fourth being in the middle of the headlines. A few months ago, I was meeting with some lawyers about suing somebody, a boy in girls' sports. My daughter came in second to a boy. The very next day, Donald Trump announces that this boy, A.B. Hernandez, should not be allowed in, and it was this big headline news, and here I was in the middle of it. My daughter was even listed and shown on, her name was shown on Fox News as coming in second to the boy. So, I don't know if this happens to you. Go in the comment section. Tell me if you've ever found yourself in the middle of, like, historic headline news. Oh, Christian people, your only salvation lies in the power of unity. God is in control.